MH370, Part 4, the final communication at 1:19 in the morning. Something happened that would become one of the most important moments in the disappearance of MH370. The aircraft was flying normally over the South China Sea. Then, Malaysian air traffic control sent a message to the cockpit. The reply came from the aircraft, just 6 words. "Good night, Malaysian 370. It sounded completely normal. Nothing in those words suggested that anything was wrong, but it would be the last known radio communication from MH370. Moments later, the aircraft crossed the boundary between Malaysian and Vietnamese. Airspace.Vietnamese air traffic control was expected to hear from the aircraft, but MH370 never called. Instead, the aircraft disappeared from civilian radar. At first, controllers believed it might simply be a communication problem. But then military radar detected something unusual. MH370 had turned back. It was no longer following its planned route toward Beijing. It was flying in the opposite direction, and nobody in the cockpit explained why. The aircraft continued across the Malaysian Peninsula and then turned northwest toward the Andaman Sea. For the people watching the radar screens, the situation was becoming more confusing by the minute. How could a Boeing 777 simply change direction without any explanation? And perhaps the most disturbing question was this: why did the aircraft continue flying for hours after it disappeared from civilian radar? Search teams began looking in the South China Sea, but MH370 was no longer there. The search area was completely wrong. By the time investigators understood, the aircraft had turned back. 370 was already far away, hundreds of kilometers from where everyone was looking. The final communication had seemed ordinary. The radar data told a completely different story, and somewhere between those two moments, the mystery of MH370 truly began. But this was only the beginning, because investigators would soon discover something even more disturbing. The aircraft may have continued flying long after everyone believed it had disappeared, and that would lead the search into one of the largest and most mysterious aviation investigations in history. MH370 had vanished, but it wasn't finished flying.